Hey friends, this is Life Coach Rich, and today we're talking about some basketball perspective from the coach and also for the player's perspective. Whose job is it? Whose main responsibility is it to improve in the sport? So, whatever sport that you're playing. Is it the coach? Is it the player? The parents think it's the coach. Sometimes the players might think it's the coach. Whose responsibility is it? It's the player's responsibility. Why is that? The coach can help see things that the player needs to improve on, whatever sport. The coach can see those things, maybe even give some drills, maybe even give certain insights because they've played the game before. They understand more about the game than that person that they're coaching. And so they can see things that the player needs to work on. But whose responsibility is it to practice, to put in the work, to put in the effort, to put in the sweat, to improve on those says that needs improvement? It's the player. You don't get better by thinking about improving. You get better by actually putting in the time and the work and the sweat to get better. But just because the coach can show you something, or you see a video online, or you see a friend do it and he shows you, it's up to that person, that player, to improve and put in the work to be able to add that to what they can do on the court, field, whatever. And that takes practice. It's not the coach's job to make the player better. It's the player's job to get better. I'll give you another example. So we want to cooperate with the players because sometimes they don't see things that they might need to improve on. But I've had a lot of players that, hey, hey, you need to improve this in the off season. Your shot arc is flat, or you're only dribbling with your strong hand. You've got to work on that. The other hand, you've got to be able to drive. If you're a right-handed dribbler for basketball, you've got to be able to drive. Learn to drive to the left. Especially important for girls. I mean, you see a lot of girls, even in high school, they really favor their right hand. If they're a right-handed dribbler, they do not want to go left, and that's just not that. You just can't do that. It's just not acceptable. You have to increase your skills, work on the things that you're uncomfortable on, and do those things. That's the only way you get better. If you just continue doing the things that you're comfortable with, you're going to hone those skills, but you're leaving your weak stuff, your weak side drive, or your weak hand. You're leaving that behind. You're getting further and further behind, whereas other people are practicing that. And you need to practice it to get better. You have to improve all of your game, just not certain parts of your game. So that's what I would advise. I've seen a lot of players that do. I can tell them as a coach, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Like I was saying, and do they do it in the off season? Many of them do not. Why? Because it's just easier not to. That's a phrase that I've coined for more in recreational kind of players that are, yeah, I'm okay with the level that I'm at, and I'm better than so and so, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to start before him, so I'm good. So there's not they're comparing themselves sometimes to the group of people that they're around. They're not comparing themselves to people that are a lot better. Otherwise, there would be a drive and a hunger to continue to work. But there's also got to be a reward related to that. What do I want to accomplish? Do I want to? It's easy for people to say, well, I want to play in college or I want to play in the NBA, but they're not going to put in the work appropriate to be able to get to that stage. So they've got to constantly have a hunger and to improve and learn from the coaches, learn from trainers, learn from other videos that now that we have available online. And there's so much that they could be learning skill wise to improve their particular skills in that particular sport. But it is definitely up to the player to improve. The coach can point out things for improvement. Many times they do not want to put in the work to actually improve. The ones that do want to put in the work, that want to separate themselves each off season from the people that aren't putting in the work, it's obvious. It's obvious who puts in the work in the off season. You can see them grow by leaps and bounds each off season because they're so much better than the people that didn't put in the work in the off season. So anyway, that's a perspective for the coach and the player, is who is responsible for getting you better. It's a cooperation, but the bulk of the burden is definitely upon the player to improve because you're the one that has to gain those skills. You're the one that has to get that extra dribbling, those extra moves, working with your offhand. Specifically, I'm applying it to basketball, of course. But it takes time and practice and bouncing that ball and shots and all of those things to actually get better instead of just thinking about getting better, but you go in there and play basketball on the video game instead of going out and actually shooting it on the court. You don't get better on a real court by playing it on the video game. People kind of wish it would work like that. Whatever you practice, if you practice more on the video game, you're going to get better at that video game. It doesn't help you on the real court against real people. So hopefully that was helpful. We need to continue improving together, guys. This Life Coach Rich. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.